And then if it's ever just you, it's there. Hi, everybody. It's Misty Buck. I am the president and founder of Miss Inc. I'm also an athlete mental health coach and an author of the book called The Athlete Mental Health Playbook. And I'm super excited today. It is Marketing Monday, and you know the drill. We bring in some of your favorite local businesses and entrepreneurs from around the South Florida area to talk about not just their business, but how they built it. So today I'm super excited because I have a dear friend here today, and this is my friend, Keith Saunders. He is a partner with eAdvisorPro. He's going to tell us all about that. Keith, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, how you got to be here in Miami, because you didn't grow up here, right?
For sure. Thank you. My name is Keith Saunders. Hello, everyone. I'm originally from New Jersey. That's where I grew up, went to high school. That's where I got into sports, played football, basketball, ran track, played baseball. Got a chance to stand out in football. Ended up going to a military prep school. From that prep school, I went to the University of Alabama. Had a chance to play with Nick Saban. A great time in my life. Learned a lot of things, a lot of discipline. And then from there, I signed as a rookie free agent with the Miami Dolphins back in 2008.
Wow. That's quite a journey. So that's how you ended up in Miami. You just stayed here.
Yeah.
After being with the Dolphins.
I got a taste of the weather, the people, and didn't want to go back.
Little different than Jersey and Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Way different. Way different.
Well, we're glad to have you here today. So I know you've been in the insurance world for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about eAdvisorPro and what you're doing at the moment? And then I want to ask you some questions about how you built your business because it's pretty impressive.
Okay. All right. So I've been now with eAdvisorPro for 5 months, and I've been able to partner there at the firm. We're a full service insurance agency. So we do employee benefits for companies. We do commercial insurance for companies. We do personal, so auto, homeowners, life insurance, and succession business planning for owners as well.
Wow. So like, what are your top services right now that people are, with the way the economy and everything is there something that people have like more of a concern over these days?
So right now, our specialty is employee benefits and commercial insurance, or the business insurance. In South Florida, because of inflation, the rates are always going up, right? So owners a lot of times get renewed. They don't know why they're being renewed. So we try to give that consultative service and really shop around and help them find the best program for the best price.
Right. And something that I love. So last time I saw you, actually, so I think I mentioned that Keith and I are friends. So last time I saw you, you were actually just coming from a client meeting where you were like, you went to the site to like onboard the employees, right? Which I think is super cool.
Yeah, because aside from being able to help the company save money, we want the employees to understand what benefits they have access to. So what we do is after we sign up the client, we have a full meeting with the insurance carrier. We go through the benefits in detail, allow the employees to ask questions, and again, make sure they understand what they have access to benefit-wise.
That's awesome. Because I think a lot of times at the bigger companies, especially, it's kind of like, here's your new plan.
Yeah, with no
Here it
education.
is. Here's the paperwork. And no one's going to read 100 pages of paperwork, right?
Exactly. And you'd be surprised if you go into a company, they really don't know what they have access to. And that's, again, part of the goal is to help employees understand and educate them on not only their employee benefits, but to take it a step further, their life insurance, their homeowners, their auto, give them an opportunity to price it around and find the best rate.
Right. So with so many people starting their own businesses or going out on their own, so I know the employees, like, well, here, I guess this is the question. What's like the minimum size that you look to work with?
So right now our minimum size is 10 employees and we go up to 1,500 so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a big range.
Yeah. And that just goes to show like South Florida is all types of businesses here, and from mom and pop shops to corporations, and we want to be able to help everyone.
Right. That's super smart. I love it. So, all right. So you got into, how long have you been in insurance now? For a while.
So I finished playing football in 2009, and after that, I kind of fell into insurance. So I've been doing it for 13 years.
Yeah, which I think is awesome because knowing so many athletes myself who have made the transition out of sports, it's really common for people to get really lost, right? Former athletes after you retire, because you're always focused on your sport. So now when that's not there, it's been like, okay, now what do I do? So you say you fell into insurance?
Yeah, it was just coincidence. Someone I was dating at the time worked at like a small Allstate agency that was transitioning into an independent firm. So it was like, okay, we're trying to put together a team. Do you want to try it out? And I tried it out, and I was an agent for 3 months. I didn't make $1, and I just kept pushing. And then eventually I gained some traction. It was like a snowball effect. So I was able to learn the industry and really pretty much teach myself and just grow within the industry.
That's so awesome. So do you think, I'm sure that the discipline that you mentioned that you learned from Nick Saban and Alabama and their whole team, did that translate into the discipline that you had to build this business? Because I got to imagine trying to sell insurance is not an easy sell.
It's really not. So it just took a lot of, I guess, endurance, right? So
Yeah.
you get a lot of no's in the process. I started off cold calling. I would make about 75 to 100 calls a day.
A day?
A day.
Where were you getting these numbers from, Keith? 75 to 100?
We can't disclose that.
Oh.
No, but I started calling on individuals. It was all real estate agents.
Uh-huh.
So I realized, like, when I got into the business, that real estate agents are independent contractors,
right?
And they need insurance. So
right.
I was calling real estate agents initially, then it transitioned from individual insurance to business insurance. But yeah, it just really what I learned at Alabama was just, again, hard work pays off, and to try to endure as much as you can, overcome adversity.
Right. And that certainly has helped you build that business. I mean, 75 to 100 calls a day.
It's a lot of no's.
That's but to your point, that helped you transition very quickly, right? It helped you go from, starting to have maybe not any business at all, because you said it was real slow the first few months, right? You weren't really having any traction, but then you were starting to get some yeses.
Yeah, and then also it's about your network. I came here with no network. I didn't know anyone. I'm not from Florida, right? So that took time as well.
Right.
But the cold calls help because you build friendships, you meet different types of people.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good.
Oh my God. So cold calls have always scared the bejesus out of me. It's like I've never wanted to try. So whenever people use this as a strategy, and I know it can be very effective, I'm just always super curious about that process. So you said you would call 75 to 100 people. Did you have like a script? Did you have how did you prepare yourself to do that?
So yes, I had a script, and then I realized.
I'm not going to ask you to share the script secret. The secret sauce. We're not going to get that.
You know what? The secret is to make the conversation as organic as possible. That's what I learned. Like, if you sound like a robot, no one wants to talk to a robot.
Right.
But if you make it sound like a human interaction, people have empathy. They'll understand, like, oh, this guy's just trying to sell his product or help me understand what he's trying to pitch, right? So I think that, again, like, cold calling, it helps you prepare for a lot of things, and the most important thing is to make it as natural as possible.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, because it's like, who loves, I mean, I don't know those car warranty calls that people get. It's an automated thing. Do those work? Why do people keep doing this? Like, why do companies keep doing that? I don't understand. So I can totally see how the organic thing would work, and especially if you're approachable to what their needs are. Like, hey, like, I know you're, for example, the real estate agent, you're an independent contractor, maybe you're on the market for some insurance. I'd love to chat with you about that.
You're a natural.
Who knew? Sign me up. Put me on your team.
We need cold callers.
Put me on your team. So, okay, so that's awesome. So, you were telling me a little bit off camera that this is something that you're continuing to use, is this cold call strategy, but now you're building a team to help you do that, right?
Correct. So again, like, you can't expand your network without trying. It can come to you, but you're sitting and waiting instead of being proactive. So I have a team of fronters who are also making calls, and the goal again is to just spread the word and help build the brand of eAdvisorPro. Again, our whole goal is to help clients really look at their program, make sure they're in the best position and paying the right amount of money. Because what happens more times than none is that they've had an agent for a long time, and sometimes you get lazy, you don't really shop it as aggressively.
Right.
And we're just trying to, again, help clients stay up to date, both from benefit price wise, and again, once they become our client, provide the service. Because that's what keeps your clients, is helping them on the back end, helping the employees, being there, and really being a resource for them to use. Right.
But I think that's really smart, because, and maybe this is a concern that your clients have, but this whole notion of the Great Resignation, and individuals are going to places that offer better benefits, or they're wanting to give a shot just working on their own, or whatever might be going on. So are you seeing with that employers more engaged in the type of benefits that they're providing?
They're having to be to keep those key employees, because, like you said, like, other companies are coming into Florida now and they're offering aggressive packages.
Yeah.
So in order to really be up to date, these small businesses here in Florida need to be competitive as well to keep up and keep those employees in house.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing what's going on with that. So, like, for example, I heard recently that there's a local company, and one of the benefits. They're not like a mom and pop by any means, but one of the benefits that they offer to their employees is pet insurance. I was like, that's genius. You know how much money I spend on pet insurance every month? Like, that's so smart.
Yep.
That's so smart. So what are there anything that, not necessarily pet insurance, but are there other things that you're looking at to help make the benefits competitive for employers? Or maybe you can share with our audience things that they might not be thinking of that really won't cost them a lot, but could be a really good benefit.
So like you're saying, things like pet insurance, there's identity theft protection that we sell as well, and the voluntary benefits, right? So there's accident policies that are very inexpensive, hospital policies, critical illness. These are offered through supplemental carriers like Allstate, Colonial, Aflac, Unum, and they're inexpensive. And what they do is they help supplement the higher deductibles that a lot of employees face. And what happens is if they're hospitalized, then these policies kick in and pay the employee directly to, again, help supplement that deductible.
Doesn't Nick Saban have a commercial about this Aflac thing?
He does.
Full circle, people. We're going full circle. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, wait, I think I saw a commercial about that. Good job, Affleck. Yeah. We're paying attention.
Great job.
So, all right, that's super, super cool. So, what else can people do if let's backtrack for a second and talk about business building and branding and marketing, right? So you mentioned cold calling. What else are you doing? Are you networking? What are some of your other go-to methods?
So we have our team out there networking as well, going to networking events, the telemarketing as well, and then social media, right? So we're trying to build our social media presence as we speak. We're heavily engaged in Instagram right now, Twitter, LinkedIn, and again, trying to build on those platforms.
I gotta imagine LinkedIn would be a really good place for you all to be because of the amount of professionals and businesses that are already there on the platform. I mean, that's what it's for, right?
Correct.
So how are you all using LinkedIn specifically? Do you know? I don't know if you're involved in that part or not.
I'm not too involved, but I'm trying to be more involved. But again, I know just a lot of active posts on updates in the market. Like, for example, for homeowners right now, the market in South Florida is really tough and people are being stuck with high premiums.
Started.
Yeah, it's bad. But we try to get our information on those types of things on LinkedIn to help people prepare and find the best options.
Yeah. Or you could be like me and you're stuck with only one. Yeah, it happens, people, but there's nothing you can do about that. So that's a little salty on that topic. But anyways.
And those are some of the challenges we face as an insurance advisor, right? Like people look at you like, hey, why is my rate going up? And you have to be able to explain and help them see, okay, this is what's happening. How can we get around it and make the most of the situation?
Right. Okay. So you're not only doing the employee benefit package then, you guys are also doing homeowners insurance and different types of.
Correct. As a firm as a whole, right? We want to be able to help our client in every area of insurance. So the business insurance consists of employee benefits and commercial insurance, but the personal can be your auto, your homeowners, your life insurance, all of those things, right? So we want to be able to help not only the business owner, but also the employees as well.
Wow. I love that. So I got to imagine that things change very quickly in your business. Is that true? I would think so. I don't know. You're the expert, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would imagine.
I mean, with the carriers and rates, but like overall concepts stay pretty much the same. We know for homeowners, if you're east of 95, you're going to have to carry flood insurance. It's going to be expensive. We know that the rates are unfortunately always going up, but how can we help to keep them as low as possible? Right. That's the thing that really is a challenge every year for me, is just having a conversation with the owner and seeing the pain, because the costs go up for the owner as well. Yeah. And it's tough on a lot of businesses. It
is tough. It is tough because it's not just to get into the property. It's how the expenses increase, how you're going to keep it too, right? Because your escrows goes up, your property taxes go up. So it's like, you're constantly trying to plan for those things. So that's super interesting. So, and I know there's a lot that's trying to happen in legislation, although that seems kind of stalled right now, at least around the homeowners market. So hopefully we get some resolutions there soon, because
and when we get the answers, we'll provide the updates. That's our job. And that's what a real broker should be doing for their clients, giving them the updates on everything going on.
Right. So how often are you communicating these updates with your clients?
So we have weekly mailers that go out to our email blasts that go out to our clients on industry updates, but we talk to our clients probably 2 or 3 times a quarter, just again, keep them updated, check in, make sure everything's running well.
Oh, wow. I love that, because I think you're right. A lot of insurance companies look at you signed up, and then here's what you need to do. And then you don't hear from it again. And then as a business owner, even the individual, you're like, I don't even want to think about this because this is always a headache. So you kind of just let it go, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like you don't want to violate someone's trust. Like I'm sure if you have insurance, it becomes like it's on autopilot. But if you check in one day, you want to make sure like, hey, I'm in the best position possible.
Right. Like, what do you have going on in your life right now? Is there something else we need to be doing? Or maybe we can look at this plan instead. There's been an update. That's super interesting. That's really interesting. All right. So are you guys going to, I know you mentioned your team. Do you do networking? Obviously you're here. So you're doing interviews, right? You're doing stuff like that and doing media. So what else? You just mentioned social media. You mentioned telemarketing. You mentioned networking. What are some of your tips if somebody is just getting into a sales type of position? So whether they're a solopreneur, they're just starting out their business and they have to sell, right? Or they're someone like a real estate agent. What would be some of your tips to help them?
First, try to maximize your network. Just again, like people are going to do business if they like you, right? So you want to really maintain and take care of your relationships. I would start there, and then don't be afraid to cold call and prospect. Like if you sit back and wait, you can only get so much in, right? But if you're out there going after it, sky's the limit. So I'd say just be proactive in your business and your hunting methods. And be proactive.
And what if that's something that people are nervous about, right? Because they kind of get scared about hearing no, right? That happens.
Yeah. So if you're nervous.
Yeah. Like if someone on your team is like, oh, like, I've heard so many no's, I'm feeling really discouraged or whatever, like how do you build them up from there?
Just, you've got to be able to tune out the no's, right? It's nothing personal. Just we're calling people when they're not expecting the call. So you can't ever take it personal. That would be my advice. Never take it personal, and don't be afraid of no's. For every 100 no's, there's got to be one yes out there, and it's gonna come. You gotta go after it and keep calling until you get it.
Right. And I love how you pointed out earlier that the yeses can kind of snowball and become another yes and another yes and another yes and another yes, and then from there, I'm assuming you get referrals.
Exactly. If you do a good job, and again, like cold calls build repetition, and then you start understanding more and more what you're calling about, and you become more comfortable and ready to have the conversation.
Right. I love that so much. So, gosh, I feel like we've talked about so much already.
The fun stuff, insurance, right?
Yeah, the fun stuff, insurance. So I don't know. I can't see the screen. I don't know if there's any questions coming in, but if you have any questions for Keith, let us know if you have any questions that are coming in. We will check that out there. And sorry, the producer was just giving me a time check. So that's where we're at there. So, all right. So what else is up and coming for you?
Right now, just all focuses are on the insurance firm, right? So anyone who's listening now or sees this recording, I challenge you to just start on your basic insurance, whether it's eAdvisorPro, Allstate, Geico. Take the time to get your homeowner's rate checked, your auto quote checked, and make sure you're in the best position. Because in today's world, we're trying to save as much money as possible. That's a good way to start, is internally with your policies.
And what's something like if I'm a business owner and I'm looking to change policies or whatever it is, I'm looking at benefits. What's the first place to start? Is it just call me? Is that kind of the answer?
Well, I think you want to start internally, right? Like you want to look back at last year, see what the cost was, see what it was this year, so you know what your increase is coming into the upcoming renewal. So you have a good starting point. If you know you got a 10% increase last year and you're getting another 15%. You received a 25% increase over the past 2 years. So find out what you have. Then next thing is why. Why is my increase 10%? Why is it 15%? You should have an answer. And then what you want to do is just 2 months prior to your renewal, you want to go out to market to make sure, again, that you're in the best position, price-wise and benefit-wise.
Okay. And that's where you guys come in.
Yeah, that's where we come in. Also, benchmarking data. You want to see what other competitors or other companies in your industry are offering to people. You should be able to receive that data. And then with us, once you provide us with a census, benefit invoice, benefit summary, we go to market. We put together side by side with one place and what we can offer through the other markets as well. Then we sit down and look at it together.
Right.
If you're in the best position, then you're in the best position, and that's the best thing for you. And
so you're not going to say change anyway. Like if you're going to say if you're good where you're at, And I think that's very honorable.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can approach it, because that pays off in the long run, being honest and transparent. So if someone's in the best position, at least you know you've done your due diligence and you know you're in the best position. And if not, you'll see the savings out there.
Right.
And that's the same for employee benefits, for commercial insurance, which consists of your workers' comp, your liability, your property insurance, errors and omissions. That's a lot more to that picture, and I always recommend getting that shopped as well. Same thing.
Right. And are you seeing with what's happening in the digital world, are you seeing employers more and more wanting to get insurance on like cybersecurity and things along that nature?
That's one of the biggest ones right now, is cyber liability.
Cyber liability.
Yeah, there is a lot going on there, and it's really important to have your company protected. And a lot of businesses deal with personal information. So if that gets leaked, then
especially because we're all working remotely much more, right? So I think that's, if you're working from home on your network and this and that, and you're doing your best, but stuff can happen. So maybe not everyone out there understands what that kind of liability protection is. And I think I'm kind of glad we touched on this subject, because to your point, I think it's something that's just becoming more and more important. I read an article today in the Herald about how there's this new scam that you're going to get. People are emailing you that you ran a red light and sending you a ticket, even if you didn't really run that red light. But that's a scam, right? So that you click on the link. It's like and the hackers are getting much more sophisticated from things that I have been reading. It's kind of crazy. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I don't know that necessarily every business owner or solopreneur understands what that type of insurance coverage is.
Yeah. So cyber liability really protects the data you have on file and what happens with that data, right? So like if a hacker gets into your file and gets access to a bunch of clients' information, you can be sued for that. You become liable for it.
Right.
So the cyber is put in place to protect you from that happening. And that's why it's important, again, for every business that has some type of personal information on file to have that coverage, because you do not want to be burned. And again, with what's going on in today's world, the hackers are very, very active right now. And what scared me, back to your point, is QCR codes. Hackers now are putting like their own little like sticker over codes, like in restaurants and gas stations. So when you do the code, you're giving them all the information.
So as soon as you scan the code, you think you're scanning like a menu at Earl's or something. And I'm not saying it happens at Earl's. I'm just saying, don't put that in my mouth. I'm just saying, like, for an example, you're out at brunch and you go to scan the menu and you could be getting hacked because they're getting. So wow, I hadn't heard of that one. That's nuts.
Yeah, I heard that last week. My friend, he's a U.S. Marshal. He shared an article with me, and I was like, wow.
So wait, how do you even know if that's a real QR code or not? Is there any way to know that? That's it's
scary.
Super crazy.
So just, viewers, be careful out there and with technology.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing there's this technology that's developing where it's not even like a link anymore. It's when you go to sign into something, and let's say like you sign in using your Facebook or your Google account, you don't have a separate username and password. But usually like a window pops up for you to sign into Facebook or Google or whatever it is, and then you can get into the other account. Well, the hackers I forget what it's called. I had shared it on my LinkedIn a couple weeks ago. But what they're doing is they're duplicating what that looks like to grab your information from there. And there's things that you can look for to see, like, is this a real thing? Should I put my information in or not? Wow. But it's getting really sophisticated.
Scary.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be doing trainings on how to educate people.
Just on that. I know. And it's constantly evolving because people are, I mean, it's nuts out there what's happening with that. So I would say if you don't have that kind of insurance coverage,
very important for the business.
Yeah, you should definitely go out and get it without hesitation.
Yep.
Yeah, because you don't want that to be the thing that brings your business down.
At all. It's a lot of liability there.
Yeah, a lot of liability. It's scary.
Yeah.
But the good news is you have insurance to help protect those liabilities.
We do.
Right?
Yes, we do.
All right. So what else are you seeing out there that maybe a business owner watching this can be aware of, like along those lines? So
again, one of the biggest costs is your insurance. So do your due diligence, and that aside from that, I think that it's South Florida.
Is pretty standard.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay. Well, there's that. And then now you touched on earlier with different types of personal stuff. You talked about life insurance and all that kind of stuff. So eAdvisorPro does all of that as well.
We do. We're starting a program next year, or toward the end of this year, where we're going to have a wealth management like seminar for all of our clients, for all the employees. It's voluntary, but to help them get wealth education on how to properly manage your money with life insurance and how you should properly set up your portfolio for long-term success.
That's super smart, because I think a lot of people, admittedly myself included, I'm trying to be better about this, but you sort of fly by the seat of your pants when it comes to
we all do.
Right? Like you think, oh, I'm doing this right and I'm doing that right, or I'm gonna buy I don't know, cryptocurrency, or I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. But there's other ways, to your point, to manage that, right? And to figure out how to hopefully retire one day.
Yeah, and there's so many layers to it too. Like one of the basic things I see on a daily basis is like people say they have life insurance, but they have term. So with term insurance, there's no cash value. So like, for example, most people have a 20-year term. If you or I have a 20-year term, that's going to be over in 60 something years old, and we would have paid X amount of money into the policy. But if you outlive the term, there's no cash value and there's no benefit left. So you've paid X amount of money for 20 years for nothing, essentially.
Wow.
So something as basic as that, people like we just don't know about, so we can't really understand it. But part of that education helps you understand, okay, what's best for me in my situation.
Right. So there's life insurance plans, in other words, you can have a cash value too.
Correct. And then, again, that goes back to just what the person's trying to achieve with their life insurance. And that's just one example.
Right. Wow. There's so much to think about with all of this. So Keith, if someone wants to reach out to you about maybe their business or individual policy or whatever it might be, how can they reach you all?
All right. So you can reach me by email at Keith, KEITH, at eAdvisorPro.com, or I guess by phone.
You can, if you want. I mean, if you want.
I mean, it's 609-556-8587. If you have any questions, I can help as best as possible.
Cool. All right. So that's how you all can reach Keith. So we just have a few minutes left here. So what are some things that you would tell somebody if they're getting into, like, let's say they're experiencing what you experienced coming out of football and they're getting into a brand new career, they don't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. What would be some of your advice to somebody who's maybe making a career change or just getting started in a new field in terms of building up their work?
Make sure it's something you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, it's going to be hard to wake up every morning and go do it, right? So one, something you love, something you enjoy, something you're passionate about. Two, if you're going to do something, give it your all. If you don't put your all into it, you'll never know what the most you can get out of it.
Yeah.
And three is just try to use your network as best as possible, and to help you, right? And to help your network as well with whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really smart. So I think a lot of people forget about the relationships that they have already created, and they dismiss that because you're thinking new business, but you're not thinking about going back to the people that you already have a relationship with.
Exactly. And they'll hear whatever you have to say, and it's good practice in the process.
Right. That's just really, really smart tip. All right. So anything else that you we didn't go over today that? No,
I guess just thank you for having me on. It's been a great time. And I guess I should give everyone my LinkedIn as well. And yeah. So LinkedIn is Keith Saunders at eAdvisorPro. And Instagram is KSAUN94. And those are the best ways to reach me.
So look him up, connect with Keith, ask him your questions for your business or personal around your wealth management and life insurance and all that kind of stuff, right? Even if you just got to change your auto insurance.
We can definitely help.
You guys can help with that too. I love it. One-stop shopping.
Yes.
I love that. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here for another Marketing Monday. Keith, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing all that wisdom. I didn't know a lot of this. The QR code thing blows my mind. So
that's scary. Be careful.
Holy smokes, that's super scary. All right, I will have a good rest of your week, and we're going to see you next week. We have another awesome guest coming on. He's been on the show before, but he's super knowledgeable about networking and speaking. So I'm really excited to have him on next week. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful week. And Keith, thank you again. We'd love to have you on again anytime. Thanks. And we'll see you all soon. Make it a great week.